Okay, try it again.
Welcome to the Team Lawson Podcast.
I'm Theresa.
I'm Mike.
And we're millennials and we're making it. On our podcast, we discuss the things that meet between the intersection of millennial marriage and special needs parenting. Today, we're going to be talking about some tips that we have for the broke. I think everybody is feeling it in this season.
Yeah.
And even though right now we're doing okay. We're doing all right. We've been broke before. What has been the hardest part about being broke for you?
The hardest part about being broke for me is not knowing where my next meal is going to come from, if our bills are going to get paid, or if I'm going to be able to take care of my family. What about yourself?
I think the hardest part for me was not being able to help with getting us out of broke. The times that we have been broke, I wasn't working. I was staying home with our daughter, Macy, and that was by design. At one point it was good, but then we were broke. He got laid off and we didn't have any money. And when you have a little person at home, putting them in daycare with no money is not an option. So I do want to say, though, there's a specific kind of broke that we're talking about. When we were broke, in order to get out of the debt that accumulates when you're broke, in order to get back in a good financial situation. So when the next time some sort of layoff or pandemic like's happening now we're not as bad off. We listen to different YouTube videos, some of the same ones that you may have listened to, Susie Orman, and what's the guy's name? The bald guy.
Dave Ramsey.
Oh, Dave Ramsey. And I think this is kind of my pet peeve. They don't talk about, a lot of times, they don't adjust the tips for the different kinds of broke. I think Susie Orman was like dead broke, working in a waitress kind of broke. We weren't that broke. We're in a good place financially when Michael was laid off. It was just a season of brokenness for us, a season when there was no money coming in. And so just the nature of money, if you don't have money coming in, the nature of finances is you start to get behind. But there's the Dave Ramsey kind of broke where you were rich by all intents and purposes, and you walk through life. You walk through life with those contacts. You still know rich people. We don't know rich people. We have some support. We have a great support system. But we're kind of like moderate, lower moderate, middle class kind of broke. Yeah. So like we had a decent credit. We had a little bit saved up, but it runs out fast. Yeah. But yeah, so we weren't living in poverty before we experienced broke, but at the same time, we weren't rich by any stretch of the imagination. So that's the kind of broke that we're talking about. One of the best tips that it's recording again. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to keep doing that. One of the best tips that
I can give, that we can give, save what you can, if you can, if you are able to.
Hold on. I'm going to have to cut that out.
That's fine.
Oh, I don't want to have to do that though. Okay, go ahead. Talk now.
One of the things that you can do, when you're in that situation, save what you can. So even if it's just, $2 to $5 every paycheck.
$2.
Hey, look, they got some people. I mean, look, if
$2. I guess a leak could fill up a creek, but
if you can put a quarter in your savings account, put something in there if you can, if you're able to.
Because there were times when we had to go in the piggy bank. That change that you just save if you're paying with groceries with cash, that change that you save, that you put in a little jar we had to use that sometimes to go grocery shopping the next week. So every little bit helps. And I was listening to Susie Orman. I can't remember what show she was on. It was a Zoom show at this point, but she was saying that cash is king in this season. Those bills that you can call and say, hey, I need some sort of forbearance. I need to not pay this for a little while if sometimes you're not paying the bill because you have no money to go towards it at all. But sometimes you can pay a little something towards it, but it may be a little better for you to keep that cash, put it in a savings account, or just keep it in your checking account for next week's groceries. We had to do this with our car note. Of course, we sadly may you put in forbearance, or what do they call it? You can like have a deferment for Sally Mae, but for our car note, we couldn't pay it for a little while, and this season didn't last for an extremely long time, but for 3 months,
Yeah, too.
because we had been on time with those payments, we were able to not pay it, and we had to pay like $50 to not pay it, but it didn't increase our um, payment when we were able to pay it again. It just extended the term of our loan for 3 months. That was helpful. And those kind of things that help you hold on to a little bit of cash during that season to help pay groceries or keep the lights on or put gas in the car if you can go to work or whatever job you're working at are awesome. What's another thing they can do, Mike?
Another thing you can do,
I know you
fellas
hate this
and
one.
ladies, I'm not a big fan of it, but work a buttload of
Yeah,
overtime,
yeah.
even when you don't feel like it.
And that's hard. That's hard when you're working overtime, but you still are behind.
Yeah,
You're working all the extra money to get as much extra money as you can, but you're still behind. Like you're. It seems like you're not catching up, and it was especially hard for me during our season of brokenness because I wasn't working. And so he's killing himself trying to work to make ends meet, and it seemed like that there was nothing I could really do. And so another tip that I would give to people who you're either laid off or you're that partner who's not working, or if you're working at a job where you can't work enough to make ends meet, but you're still working a little bit. Don't be mad about what the work you can't do. Don't stress about it. Don't stress out about the work that you can't do because sometimes you just can't. Um, I know for me, it was particularly hard because I was at home working with our child. I was keeping our house together, but childcare was too expensive, so it didn't make financial sense for me to work. But that didn't help me feel any better about not being able to work, and it was hard not to stress about it. Another thing that I was able to do, and I would suggest everybody do this when you realize, hey, we're about to have a income stream cut off. The first thing you do, sit down with your budget and look at all the things that you can cut out. How much of the fun things, how many of the bills can I put on deferment or forbearance? How many of the subscription services can I turn off? How many phones do you need? At one point we had one phone and it was a free phone.
government phone.
It was the Obama phone. We had that phone and we had that for probably a good 6 months. Because the thing
Probably a year.
is, probably a year. The thing is, after you start working again or after you start getting back on your feet, you're coming from behind. And so you need to be able to look and see where you can cut. That way you can start, where you can also add back. Because you don't want to cut to the point where it is no longer enjoyable to live your life. Being broke is hard enough when there's no enjoyment. I think for a little while, the most enjoyment that we could afford was going to get some ices and a bag of chip and going for a ride down one of the little country roads near our neighborhood.
Facts.
And it was a good time, but that was all we could do. There was what, $4 spent during the summertime, you know. But you want to be able to know exactly what you can cut, so you can see where you can stand.
Before we go on the next tip, let me also throw this in. Um, Going back to the don't work, don't stress. Look, also make sure you're encouraging the person, whether it be a he or she, a husband or wife at home. Make sure you're encouraging them. I
Yeah.
had to come home and encourage Theresa many days that, even though I was killing myself working to get us caught up, and it was stressful on her, I had to encourage her that everything is okay and things will get better. So make sure you're being that system of encouragement to the person that's at home taking care of the family or the kids or the housework or whatever responsibility that that person has. Make sure you're just being an encourager.
No, the last one's yours. Is for me. Oh yeah, ask for help when you can, and this is our last and final tip. This can be really hard, especially when you're doing so much asking. You're asking the loan companies to wait a few months. You're asking the car loan company to just wait. Can you we just not pay you for a few months? And then you have to ask the people in your life. A lot of times it is for money. You are asking people for money to pay the light bill, to pay rent, all of the above. It helps, if you have a support system. I know not everybody has that. We do. We have parents who can chip in. They both did. Both sets of parents chipped in.
Yeah.
We have friends too. So when we have just asked parents for rent and the other parent for light money.
And look, man, it have been times we've been so broke we had to stretch gas for 2 weeks. So look,
Yeah.
if you're in that situation, do not be ashamed to ask a coworker that may live near you, or maybe find that coworker at work who doesn't mind going out of the way to come and pick you up for work. You might have to hitchhike a ride to work. Find that coworker or that friend that doesn't mind taking you to work. And when you can, remember there's that key word again. When you can, make sure you drop something in their hand if you can and when you can.
Yeah.
Help them on gas.
Even if it's just a thank you card. Thank you for picking me up and taking me home. And when was this? This was when, okay, so you worked, you drove across the country, CDL, and then you wanted to do something more local, and you got laid off from the more local company.
Yeah.
And then you started working for a moving company, and it was
Yep.
enough for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Enough to pay bills and get groceries, but not to pay car note. But then it wasn't. Like there was a week where you got $100 check, and it was a surprise. And this company was so shady, babe. Oh, he was getting paid under the table. It was awful.
Well, no,
Oh, I
no.
mean, not under the table, but like the way that they paid. Like he was an employee, but like it was awful.
It,
Sometimes he was dependent on the tips that the clients, not the yeah, the clients would give to be able to like.
but look, let me tell you something, America. It did what it needed to do in the
It
months,
did.
that I worked
I'm
there.
not
It,
totally mad, but I was totally caught off guard because I thought the check that we were getting was his last check, and so it was gonna have like the last little bit of money, but it didn't. It was just $100. So like I was on the phone with my friend when I went to pick up this $100 check that was supposed to last us a week, and he had just gotten his next job and he needed gas and probably I think you needed boots or something. I can't remember.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
probably
had to
because
get.
he was a plant job. So there's PPE that he has to wear to work in the plant. And when you have to buy it, they reimburse you, but they reimburse you on your check, and he ain't got the check
Man, look
yet.
now, man. Let me tell you something. Don't be ashamed to get the cheap boots. I had to get the cheap boots and tear
Yeah.
my feet up until I can afford. Until the Lord bless me with the more expensive luxury boots.
Well, I was on the phone with his friend and like I was just like it was one of those moments where it's like like there is no food in your house. Like there was no and we for whatever reason we didn't qualify for food stamps
They said I
because
made too much,
he made too much money.
so we was in here eating wish sandwiches.
Wish I did not eat mayonnaise and bread. That did not happen. I don't receive
No,
that.
babe. I wish sandwiches. I wish I had a piece of meat in this sandwich.
Oh, I didn't know that. Today years old when I learned what a wish sandwich was. So I met this friend on the side of the road and she gave me $40 that I used for groceries. And I had to make this $40 stretch to last the entire week for three people. Because there wasn't going to be no more money. There wasn't gonna be no more money until we got the next $100 check, which was the last check from this company that shall remain nameless. But yeah, you have sometimes you just have to ask, and like I always ask. Our intention was always to pay people back, but we had the kind of support system that recognized what being broke was. Like being broke is not only you broke now, but if you don't have enough money now, when you get money, it's gonna be going to paying back all the people that you need to pay back when you didn't have money.
So now you got to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, so a lot of the times it would just be like, don't pay this back, it's fine. If we kept a running total, if we kept a running total, it was probably a good. I'm not even going. I'm not adding that money up, not to depress myself. So that's all we have for today. Those are the tips that we have for you guys.
Another segment that we have.
So, babe, how are we doing at working together as a team?
That's what I was gonna say. So I'm going to explain this. This is a thing that me and my wife do. We plan to do this every week.
Yeah, we have a reminder in our phone that goes off
yes,
at
it's on
midnight.
Sundays.
It goes off at midnight Sunday morning.
Yeah.
And it's to remind us that we need to ask each other this question before the end of the day. Michael always tries to ask me first because the way that it goes is the person asks the question, and then you have to tell something good that the person is doing for you that week. Michael has a really hard time telling me that I do good things. I'm not offended.
I don't.
Yes, you do. That's why you always want to go first.
Time telling you stuff you need to work on.
Explain the stuff. Explain what we're supposed to do.
So, what it is for couples, it shows what level, you know. Let me find a better way to explain.
I don't know
this.
what just happened there. We're gonna have to cut all this out.
I know we're going to cut it out. So basically, it shows how the relationship is, how the person is feeling in the relationship. So
it helps us communicate any of the struggles
yes,
that we're having in our relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you come with one positive thing that you've seen.
I may not cut any of that out. I'm just telling you now.
That's
if
fine.
I edit it, I might not cut it out.
Don't worry about it. So you pick one positive thing that your partner is doing, and you pick one thing that they can work on. But also make sure you have a day. So we choose Sunday because we got Monday through Saturday.
No, we choose Sunday because normally we go to church on Sunday and we can be more saved. That's why I chose Sunday.
And also it gives you a week, before I rudely interrupted, it gives you a week to, observe and see what things, that your partner is doing good and the things that, they can work on to improve.
And it also helps to know when you're going to do this. Sometimes it's hard to talk about stuff with your partner that you're struggling with, or stuff that you would appreciate if they improved working on. Sometimes it's just a difficult conversation to have, and you can kind of prepare yourself how you want to say it. For me, I'm very blunt, and I have been told that sometimes it is not what I say, but how I say it. And so I try to word how I will say it so that it's not offensive to the person that it is said to, i.e. my husband. I love you. So
America, be careful how you say stuff. But
when you do that, it gets really loud. When you go but and you clap, it gets really loud in the thing. So I'm gonna have to cut all those out. So can you just be mindful not to do that?
On the volume of the mic, Theresa.
I have been adjusting it this entire time.
DJing. But the good thing that I've noticed,
we've gone on about this. We've gone on about this long enough.
That's what I'm saying. I'm finna go and ask the question.
Okay.
The good thing that I've noticed is you've been very supportive, in the things that I have to do that I don't want to do, i.e. work overtime.
We have a lot going on. We have a kid at home most of the day now. And so we have full-time jobs. Well, he has a full-time job. I work part-time. And it's enough to have a job and then to do childcare all day, every day. And then you have to work an extra day or maybe two. Sorry about that, babe. I'm so sorry.
I think the thing that she can work on, America,
No,
is
no, no. I'm doing your good thing first. I don't want to hear
oh,
it yet.
so
So,
oh, that's right.
you have been really receptive in handling the things that I've asked you to help around the house. Those things that I've been asking about for a while, like the car and stuff. Oh, my car is so clean, y'all. There's always one car that is like the family car, even though it's one person's car. It didn't start off one person's car. We just had one car at one point. And so we're always in this car, and it looked like that for a while. But yeah, thanks. Appreciate you.
All right. And the thing that you can work on, being more patient.
Yeah. I have very short patience at times, and I would do well to be more patient. I will give you that. One thing that I would appreciate if you worked on would be not ignoring me.
Now explain that. Explain that to America right
So,
now.
so my husband has this thing, and the reason why I think it's so upsetting to me is because he doesn't do it to anybody outside of our house. He doesn't do it to his mom. He doesn't do it to his friends, people at church, people at work. He does this to me, and he does it to Mason, and he does it all the time, and it's very frustrating. I will ask him a question. I will say, "Babe, can you take out the trash?" And this is what he does. "Babe, can you take out the trash?" Silence. He doesn't say anything. No, no, I'll do it later. None of that. He just doesn't say anything. Like, so I don't know if he heard me or not. I don't know if he's annoyed by it. I interpret it as annoyance. That is what happens. Like, you don't say anything. I'm like, he heard me. He just doesn't want to do it, so he's not saying anything. That's what it feels like. So if you could just work on recognizing when I speak and just go, okay. Just, you don't have to say a lot. Just,
So America, it's not me ignoring her at all. If you ask me to take the trash out and you see me go take the trash out, I mean, is that ignoring?
yeah. So the time frame in between me asking you to go take the trash out and you actually taking the trash out could be like 15 minutes. And that's fine. You can take 15 minutes to take the trash out, but you're the only one that knows that you heard me and you're taking the trash out. This is something that we've discussed in our marriage for literally years. But Friday, I read an article that said, I didn't read the article. I'll be honest. I read the title, but
America.
the article title said, what did it say? Oh, it said, how did it go? It was the whole title was enough for you to understand what happens. I was like, I totally understand that because that's how I feel. But when you feel that someone you love has ignored you, your brain interprets that as physical pain. And so I told him that Friday. And so he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But it makes me feel a certain way where you don't say anything. So could you just make a special effort to be like, okay, babe,
Yeah, I can do that.
see, you did it there. I'm so thankful. That's all we have for you guys. We are located everywhere at Team Lawson. So if you're listening to this podcast anywhere, don't forget to like it. You can favorite us because we'll be here every Wednesday. If you're watching us on YouTube, Team Lawson, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also go and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Team Lawson.
And Instagram, Team Lawson.
We're on Instagram?
Yeah, we're gonna be on Instagram. You supposed to set that up?
Oh, we're not on Instagram yet, but when we're there, we will be. Did I set it up? I did. I did. We're on Instagram. It's Team Lawson. I did it. And don't forget teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
Thanks, guys.
God bless you. Oh Jesus.
You need to stop recording.
Huh?
You need to stop recording.
Well, you just gonna cut that.
Oh, I didn't stop recording this either. Stop recording?
No, I never stopped.
We're recording. It's what we've been at this for an hour trying to set up. I'm recording this for our future selves because this is the first night that we have tried. Am I looking in the right spot? I think so. This is the first night that we have tried to set up the equipment that we've purchased over the course of 6 or 7 months to do this podcast and start this YouTube channel and promote this brand. And it is worth it, and you're probably living in the worth it right now. That's it.